Beverly tried to wear a nice robe.
Robes way in. Boston defense, game 2. Brooklyn led by 17 at one point. But then he and Kyrie, 1 for 17 from the field in the second half. Celtics win. Chris Broussard's finals pick on the ropes. Broussard, how shocked were you by KD and Kyrie's performance?
Wilds, first of all, I'm resting in a cliche that we've heard that doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm going to rest in it right now. A series doesn't begin until somebody wins on the other person's floor. All right, so this hasn't even begun yet.
Stop it.
The Nets still got a good chance. We'll see in games 3 and 4. All right, but here we go. I'm surprised. I mean, look, not so surprised that Boston won. Obviously, they're a very good team. They've been that this whole calendar year. But I'm surprised at how it happened. If you had told me yesterday at this time, you're going to get for the Nets 23 points from Bruce Brown, 18 from Goran Dragic, and 16 from Seth Curry, and the Nets are going to match the Celtics on the glass, hold them to 7 offensive rebounds, I would have been like, there's no way the Nets are losing that game. And yet, because they're 2 superstars, let's just call it like it is. 2 guys that some are saying, Tracy McGrady just said it to our Shannon Sharp the other day. The most skilled players in the history of the league as far as a duo. They came up incredibly small. They didn't show up. All right, and I will give the Celtics defense a lot of credit, but I did not expect the Nets' 2 stars to come up so small. Let's start with Kyrie Irving. My fear yesterday was that he would come out and try to do too much, Nick, right? He's going against the crowd. Is he going to go for 50 points and try to shut them up to the demise of his teammates? Instead he went the opposite. To use Kyrie's word from the press conference a few days ago, he was docile. He was off the ball. He took 13 shots, and he had Kevin Durant bringing the ball up court. Now, I don't know if that was just some strategy to get Durant, some momentum going downhill because they were defending him so well. But let's look at this play. Here's Durant bringing the ball up the court, and Grant Williams and Jason Tatum have locked him up. Here's Durant. Williams is looking like Dennis Rodman against Kevin Durant. All right, and here's the greatest respect for the Celtics defense. Durant is hearing footsteps because you know a guy's hearing footsteps because when they get open looks, they still are worried about the defense. And Durant and Kyrie, to a lesser extent, were missing open looks. Here it is. That's vintage Kevin Durant, and he misses it because they are in his head with their physical defense. And so that's what surprised me. Lastly, this, Nick, the fourth quarter, look at this. If there were 2 stars, I would have picked the 2 champions to shine in the fourth, not the 2 young kids.
You picked wrong, buddy.
And you see there, they outscored them by 9. That was the game. You can look at all types of other things, but that was the game. The Nets' 2 superstars did not show up.
Bro, it was worse than that. You're underselling this. And the Celtics do have a great defense, but this isn't baseball where a great pitcher can throw a 1-0 shutout. This is the NBA. I don't care if you had a collection of the greatest defenders of all time in their prime and put them on one team. 1 for 17 in the second half by KD and Kyrie should flatly never happen. KD had never gone a half of playoff basketball without making a basket. He was 0 for 10. This was a brutal, unforgivable performance by, again, 2 guys who everybody loves skill. Oh, my God, they're so skilled. Oh, my God, look at all this skill. Well, production would be helpful. Winning would be nice. And here's the facts, Wilds. Kyrie Irving, who hit one of the biggest shots in playoff history and has an unbelievable line of box scores in NBA Finals games, has not had a single significant playoff moment outside of round one since 2017. And that's going to continue this year because they're not going to get out of round one. And Kevin Durant had a golden opportunity this year. The 5 best players of this generation in no order: LeBron, Giannis, Steph, Kawhi, KD. You know what they all have except for KD? An unimpeachable title of their own. LeBron in 16, Steph in 15, Giannis last year, Kawhi 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, the landscape's opening up. Chris Middleton is hurt. The Bucks are a little shaky. Devin Booker is hurt. So KD, you got a double-digit lead at halftime to steal home court. Maybe if you have a long playoff run, it wouldn't be farcical for Ben Simmons to come back slowly but surely over the next 6 weeks. Unfortunately, your season's only going to be the next 6 days because you picked a hell of a time for your worst playoff game in a decade. So I don't want to hear any more about the skill and pure scoring and all of it. That was an all-time awful performance. Jaylen Brown was okay. Tatum was bad. And you lost. Despite Bruce Brown, Dragic, and I forget the other player Broussard mentioned, combining for damn near 60. And Seth Curry. Think about 57 points. You went 1 for 17 in the second half, KD and Kyrie. It can't happen. It just can't happen.
So I'll say, was there a feeling to you, because this is the feeling that I got, Broussard, that the Celtics weren't intimidated by the Nets at all? At all.
They're not.
That they could smell a little blood in the water. Once the lead started to evaporate, it felt like, oh, this is our game. These guys are going to fold. We're going to take it from them, but they are also going to fold. And I want to show you this play from Jaylen Brown with Kyrie on him. Now, Jaylen Brown is excellent, and he's got a bevy of moves. But the move that he does here on Kyrie is, I'm going to take it right to your chest. It almost looked like, I I view things through Patriots' eyes, like what the Patriots did with the Bills. Like, we're just gonna push this right through you, and it is not only going to be effective, it is going to be mentally demoralizing. And I feel like between this play and the play when KD had the ball stripped from him at the foul line, that the Nets kind of let go of the rope there, Broussard. So I know it's like we're going back to Brooklyn, but do you think that there is a mental toll where now the Nets are looking at like, you know what? We can't beat these guys?
I wouldn't go that far. Because, look, again, Kyrie Irving, now granted, he had LeBron James next to him. Well, now he's got Kevin Durant next to him. He came back from a 3-1 lead against a team that won more regular season games than anyone. So I don't think they will be defeated. Real talk. And last year, let's go back a year ago. Everybody thought Phoenix had Milwaukee beat, right? When they're up 2-0 in the finals. Everybody thought Brooklyn had Milwaukee beat when they're up 2-0 in the playoffs in the second round.
Right, your old
so
buddy Nick
we've
Rice.
seen teams come back from 2-0 deficits. So, look, it looks bad. There's no doubt. And I agree with you that the Celtics are not in the least bit intimidated. In fact, they're bullying the Nets. They took Kevin Durant's lunch money yesterday, period. So it's going to be tough. But I'm not writing them off yet because we've seen too many teams come back from 2-0 deficits.
Yeah, and I don't think the Nets are going to get swept, to be clear. And listen, things will go well for one of the games in Brooklyn. They'll be hitting shots, and everyone will once again be talking about how scary they are and how good they'll be next year. And I'm not even going to focus too much on Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is an excellent offensive player that has been wildly overrated by segments of the media and segments of the player population because he is so almost hypnotizing with his skill. It should not be a shock to anyone that Kyrie Irving followed a great game with a bad game. He has done that throughout this season. The Durant thing is jarring in a way I have been saying for the last 2 months, those 40 minutes a game might be wearing him down. That's the only possible explanation.
No.
Brew, you're shaking your head. I know you're saying it shouldn't happen.
There's another explanation.
There's
another explanation. First of all, he was out
for
the thing. 20-something games straight.
I understand that, but just quickly, if I may. In this series, he has 13 made baskets and 12 turnovers. The way he is having the ball taken from him is more jarring than the missed jump shots or even seeing his jump shot get blocked. He is not, and he seemed so quietly confident going into this series in the press conferences. To see Kevin Durant on the court getting bullied, getting pushed around, not being able to do anything it is not the same stakes and it is not that level of meltdown. But it is nearly as jarring as, to me, LeBron in 11, where it was like, wait, what is happening here? I've never seen this guy play like this. No.
Here's the difference.
I'm just saying as far as how different it looks from how I expected him to play. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't look like Kevin Durant.
I agree with that, but LeBron took himself out of the series in 2011. They didn't stop him. He stopped himself.
Yep.
Kevin, let's give the Celtics some credit. And I'm going to say, Nick, because we always hear, I even heard Gilbert Arenas recently on a podcast talking about Rodman, Jordan, Pippen. They couldn't guard Kevin Durant. This is 90s basketball. The refs are letting the Celtics play 90s defense. And they're getting physical with Kevin Durant, and he's not used to it. He's used to having room, being able to do what he wants. They are getting physical with him, and that's the problem. Simple as that. We know he's not incredibly strong. He's not big. He's not a physical player. They are letting the Celtics be physical, and it's thrown Durant off his game. That's the explanation. If he's tired from playing 40 minutes for a couple of months, shame on him. This is because they are playing too physical for him. I mean, seriously.
Wild, you know what that was? Young people be soft. That was Bruce. Young people be soft.
90s.
That's right.